Mr. Marc Maron is here on the show. How are you, Marc? Lovely to see you. Thanks.
Nice to see you, James.
It's always nice to see you. I've got to be honest, any time I see you or I bump into you, I always find myself thinking, and this is genuinely true, I love Marc Maron. What a lovely guy.
Well, that's very nice of you, because I feel the exact same about you, James. Well, I think is the proper way to respond to that.
I don't think it's up for debate, and I don't think I'm alone. I don't think I'm on an island in this. I think everybody thinks that, and some days I'll think, I wonder what Marc Maron's doing right now. And that's what I'll think.
Well, I can answer that. Usually I'm either sitting outside on my porch, sometimes I'm sitting inside here on my couch, other times I'm sitting in my garage talking on a microphone. That's what I'm doing. Or cooking.
Yes. Well, you are quite the cook, and I want to talk to you about that. What are Marc Maron's Thanksgiving plans?
Well, I finally got my mother to stop pestering me to come visit her. I mean, it was ridiculous. She knows that there's a plague, and she knows that it's dangerous, but she wanted me to get on a plane. That means go to an airport, fly on an aircraft, land in Florida to go to her house. Florida. I might as well just drop COVID in my eyes. I mean, Florida is like, it's like the entire state. They're going to put COVID on the license plates. I mean, it's crazy. I'm going to have to shop at 3 different stores with a bunch of maskless weirdos. Yeah, no. So I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay here by myself. I might have my friend come over and cook something, maybe some, I don't know, turkey for 2 is a bit much, but I'll figure something out.
You'll figure it out. Have you always been handy in the kitchen?
Yeah, I've always liked to cook. I sort of taught myself how to cook. I have a knack for it. I didn't have a knack for, I tried to be a line cook when I was younger. I used to do some grill work. I was okay at grill. I could do pancakes and eggs and make sandwiches. But then I was working at a restaurant as a waiter, and they had an opening on the line. And the line is something that's sort of like a good rock band. Everybody's got to do their part to deliver the food. And I just thought it would be easy and fun. And I was the fryer guy, and I screwed up the entire restaurant. James, I could not get the onion rings not to clump together. I was the bad cog in the line machine, and I lasted about a week. But since then, I've gotten pretty good at it, and now it took me a long time in quarantine to really start doing it. I like to cook. It makes me feel better. Unfortunately, I'm here by myself, and I'm basically cooking like I own a small restaurant. So I spend, my refrigerator is always full. I'm just shy of heading out onto my street and just waving people down to give them muffins and fresh greens and maybe some smoked fish. I'm smoking fish, James.
Are you really? Are you smoking your own fish? Is that for real? Are you doing that?
I did it. You know, as a Jew, I think it's important to touch base with Jew things. And smoked fish is one of those things. So I always wondered, like, what would it take to smoke sable? And I've got a free smoker from Traeger.
Look at this.
Now I just earned it. So, and I realized, like, I could probably smoke fish on this. So I figured it out. It's a process, but I was able to actually smoke my own sable fish, and it came out perfectly. So now I'm opening a deli. I'll be on the street with smoked fish, muffins, and greens. I'll try to push my food up on people driving by.
Now, let's talk about your new movie, Stardust. For anyone who doesn't know, tell them what it's about and who you play.
Stardust is a film that people are mistaking for a David Bowie biopic, and it's actually a movie about a very small moment in time in David Bowie's career, just after the release of the Man Who Sold the World, which was they didn't know how to market that album. He'd only had one hit with Space Oddity, and it wasn't clear whether he was a novelty actor or somebody who was going places. So it's like a month or two in the life of David Bowie in the early '70s, where he's not sure who he is creatively or as a person, and his manager is sort of cutting him loose a little bit, and the label doesn't know what to do with the record, and he comes to America with the wrong papers or no paperwork to perform. And I play this label, the music label publicist, who really believes in the guy, but I'm sort of on the outs too. So it's basically me and David, me trying to get David Bowie, you know, long-haired, sort of insecure, hippie-ish David Bowie, radio gigs and opportunities to play when he's not legally allowed to do it. And also there's all these conversations around, you know, how he's going to proceed with his music, because I believe in him, but the issue is, does David believe? And it's really kind of interesting in that I don't think a lot of us imagine David Bowie ever being at that place in his career.
Yeah.
So it's really a story about a young artist, you know, trying to figure out who he is.
I mean, did you ever get to meet David Bowie?
No, I didn't. But I've loved him a long time. You know, I'm a big fan of David Bowie, and I'm a fan of specific periods of David Bowie. But it was sort of it was exciting to get this opportunity. Look, man, I mean, I played the publicist. I played Ron Oberman, right? This guy that nobody knows really except his family and a few people. You know, Johnny Flynn's got to be David Bowie. So going into it, I'm like, you know, it's not on me. I'm going to be okay no matter how this goes.
Well, he's a brilliant actor, Johnny Flynn. I'm a really big fan of his. And you've spoken to plenty of rock stars on the podcast, and I think we both share a fascination with them. What is it about rock stars that you find so interesting?
Well, I think the thing that really is the biggest part of a rock star's mystique is they don't have to talk to us, James. Yeah. They never have to talk. And in some cases, as you know, that might be better. But but there is I think it's sort of fascinating that rock stars, when you meet them, I mean, I've interviewed Springsteen, Neil Young, Keith Richards, McCartney, you know, Roger Waters, Randy Newman. I'll throw him in because I love him. Is that they're sort of magical people. I mean, they're up there with their band, but they are able to summon something that is not like what I do as a comic or what most people do. I mean, music is really magic, and songs evolve with you. Songs stay with you your entire life, and they either bring you back someplace to when you were younger, or they sort of grow with you and get deeper as you go on. So there's a real magic to people that make music.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm really excited to see the film. Now, Marc, we've been doing this thing on the show called a Late Late Show and Tell, where we ask our guests to share something with us from home that we may otherwise never get to see. Do you have something you'd like to share this evening?
I do, and it's sort of you know, connected to the movie in a way. Are you ready?
Oh, wow. Hey, hang on, is this a real mold of Bowie's face?
Yes, dude. It was like, I know this guy, he's a fan of mine, and he's a makeup artist, and he worked at one of the studios, the big studios, and they had all the molds from people that they had to make masks or prosthetics for. And this was, they had it, and he made some casts. So this is probably David Bowie from, I would imagine the movie was probably The Hunger. So he made me the mold, and then he gave me the option of him sort of putting the makeup on him. So this is like having David Bowie's head.
Wow. That is incredible.
Isn't that insane?
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's brilliant. Reggie, do you have a question for our guest this evening?
Yes, I do. Tonight's question goes to Marcus Marinus.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes.
Have you ever had an interaction where you've thought, I got to get out of here, and then you came up with a creative solution?
Yes, it's happening right now, and I have to go.
Well, ain't that correct?
It's absolutely correct. Please thank the wonderful Marc Maron, everybody.